The Friar's Tale. In my own district, once there used to be a fine archdeacon, one of high degree, who boldly did the execution do on fornication and on witchcraft too, bawdry, adultery, and defamation, breaches of wills and contracts, spoliation of church endowment, failure in the rents, and tithes, and disregard of sacraments, all these and many other kinds of crime that need have no rehearsal at this time. Usury, simony too, but he could boast that lechery was what he punished most. They had to sing for it if they were caught, like those who failed to pay the tithes they ought. As for all such, if there was an informant, nothing could save them from pecunial torment. For those whose tithes and offerings were small were made to sing the saddest song of all, and ere the bishop caught them with his crook, they were all down in the archdeacon's book, and he had jurisdiction on inspection and powers to administer correction. He had a summoner ready to his hand. There was no slyer boy in all the land, for he had subtly formed a gang of spies, who taught him where his profit might arise, and he would spare one lecher from his store, to teach the way to 24 more. Though it may drive him mad as a March hare, our summoner here, I will not spare his harlotries. He has no jurisdiction on friars. He cannot make infliction upon us, now or ever, or take dues from friars. Nor from woman of the stews, the summoner shouted. We have no control on either lot. The devil take your soul, called out our host. I say I won't have squalls. On with your story, sir. If it galls the summoner, spare him not, my worthy master. The treacherous thief, the friar said, was pastor to certain bawds that ate out of his hand. Lures for a hawk, none such in all the land. They told him all the secret things they drew. From sinners their acquaintance was not new. Each was his agent, say, his private spy. He drew large profits to himself thereby. Even the archdeacon didn't always know how much he got. He didn't have to show a warrant when he chose to make things hot for some obscure uneducated sot. For he could summon under threat of curse, and they were glad enough to fill his purse, or give him banquets at the Lamb and Flag. And, just as Judas kept a little bag, it was a thief, such a thief as he. His master got no more than half the fee, to give the man his due, and not to skimp. He was a thief, a summoner, and a pimp, and he had wenches in his retinue. So when the Reverend Robert or Sir Hugh, or Jack or Ralph, whoever it was, drew near, and lay with them, they told it in his ear. He and these wenches made a gang at it. Then he would fetch forth a fictitious writ, summon them both before the chapter bench, and skin the man while letting off the wench, saying, Dear friend, I know you would prefer her name were struck from our black register. Trouble yourself no further, my good man. On her account I'll help you all I can. He knew so much of bribery and blackmail, I should be 2 years telling you the tale. There is no sporting dog that's more expert at knowing a wounded deer from one unhurt. Then was this summoner who could spot for sure lecher, adulterer, or paramour. Indeed, on that his whole attention went, because it was the source of all his rent. So it befell that on a certain day this summoner rode forth to catch his prey, a poor old fiddle of the widow tribe, from whom, on a feigned charge, he hoped to bribe. Now, as he rode, it happened that he saw a gay young yeoman under leafy shaw. He bore a bow with arrows bright and keen, and wore a little jacket of bright green, and had a black fringed hat upon his head. Hail! Welcome, and well met, the summoner said. Welcome to you, and all good lads, said he. Whither away under the greenwood tree? pursued the yeoman. "How far to go?" The summoner paused a moment and said, "No, just here, close by, in fact. I'm only bent. I'm going for a ride to raise a rent that's owing to my lord a little fee." "Why, then, you are a bailiff?" "Yes," said he. He did not dare, for filth and shame, say that he was a summoner for the name. "Well, I'll be damned," the yeoman said. "Dear brother, you say you are a bailiff. I'm another, but I'm a stranger about this part. I'll beg acquaintance with you for a start, and brotherhood, if that is fair to offer. I have some gold and silver in my coffer, and should you chance to cross into our shire, all shall be yours, as much as you desire." "My word," the summoner answered. "Thanks a lot." The pair of them shook hands upon the spot, swore to be brothers to their dying day, and chatting pleasantly, rode on their way. The summoner, always ready with a word, as full of venom as a butcher bird, and sticking his nose into one thing or other, went on. "And where do you live at home, dear brother? I might come calling there some other day." The yeoman said in his soft-spoken way, "Oh, far away up north, I'll tell you where. I hope that sometime I shall see you there. Before we part, I shall be so explicit about my home, I'm sure you'll never miss it." "Brother," the summoner said, "I'd like to know if you can teach me something as we go. Since you're a bailiff just the same as me, tell me your subtler tricks. Now seriously, how can I win most money at the game? Keep nothing back for conscience or from shame." "Talk like a brother. How do you make out?" "Well, I break level, brother, just about. I'll tell a truthful story all in all. My wages are extremely tight and small. My master's hard on me and difficult, my job laborious and with poor result. And so it's by extortion that I live. I take whatever anyone will give, at any rate by tricks and violences. From year to year I cover my expenses. I can't say better, speaking truthfully," the summoner said. "It's just the same with me. I'm ready to take anything, God wot, unless it is too heavy or too hot. What I can get out of a little clot in private, why should conscience boggle at that? What I can get out of a little chat in private, what should conscience boggle at that? Without extortion, how can I make a living? My little jokes are hardly worth forgiving. Bowels of pity, conscience I have none. Plague on these penance fathers, every one. We make a pair by God and by St. James. But, brother, what do you say to swapping names?" The summoner paused, the yeoman all the while. The summoner spoke, had worn a little smile. "Brother," he answered, "would you have me tell? I am a fiend. My dwelling is in hell. I ride on business, and have so far thriven by taking anything that I am given. That is the sum of my revenue. You seem to have the same objective too. You're out for wealth, acquired no matter how, and so with me. I'll go a-riding now, as far as the world's end in search of prey." "Lord," said the summoner, "what did you say? I thought you were a yeoman, certainly. You have the body of a man like me. And have you then another shape as well, appointed for your high estate in hell?" "No," he replied, "for hell admits of none. But when we like, we can appropriate one, or rather make you think we have a shape. Sometimes it's like a man, sometimes an ape, even an angel riding into bliss. There's nothing very wonderful in this. A lousy conjurer can trick your eye, and he, God knows, has far less power than I." "But why," pursued the summoner, "track your game in various shapes? Why don't you stay the same?" "Just to appear," he said, "in such a way as will enable us to snatch our prey. But why do you have to go to all this bother?" "For many reasons, my dear brother. You shall know about it in good time. The day is short, and it is long past prime, and yet I've taken nothing the whole day, and I must think of business if I may, rather than air my intellectual gift. Besides, you lack the brains to catch my drift. If I explained, you wouldn't understand. Yet since you ask me, why we're a busy band, and thus, at times, we are God's instruments, a meaning of forwarding divine events. when he so pleases, that concern his creatures, by various arts, disguised by various features. We have no power without him, that's a fact. If it should please him to oppose some act, sometimes at our request, he gives us leave to hurt the body, though we may not grieve the soul. Take Job, his is a case in point. At other times the two are not disjoint, that is to say, the body and the soul. Sometimes we are allowed to take control over a man and put his soul to test, but not his body. All is for the best, for every time a man withstands temptation, it is a partial cause of his salvation, though our intention is, when we beset him, not that he should be saved, but we should get him. At times we slave for men without complaint, as on Archbishop Dunstan, now a saint. Why, I was servant to an apostle once. Tell me, the summoner said. I'm just a dunce, but do you make new bodies as you go out of the elements, the fiend said. No. We just create illusions, or we raise a corpse and use it. There are many ways, and we can talk as trippingly and well as to the witch of Endor, Samuel. And yet some people say it wasn't he. I have no use for your theology. One thing I warn you of, it is no jape. You will be learning all about our shape, in any case, hereafter, my dear brother. Where will you not need me, nor yet another, to teach you, for your own experience will furnish you sufficient evidence to give a lecture on it, and declare, as much as from a professional chair, better than Virgil, when he was alive, or Dante either. Now if we're to thrive, let's hurry on, I'll keep you company, unless it chance that you abandon me. What, said the summoner, leave you on your own? I am a yeoman, pretty widely known. I'll hold to my engagement. I'll play level. Though you were Satan's self, the very devil, I keep my word of honor to a brother, as I have sworn, and so shall each to other. True brothers we shall be, the bargain's made, and both of us can go about our trade. You take your share, whatever people give, and I'll take mine, and that's our way to live. If either should do better than the other, let him be true and share it with his brother. Agreed, the devil answered, as you say. And on the word they trotted on their way. Just at the entry of the very village the summoner had it in his mind to pillage, he saw a farm cart loaded up with hay. There was a carter driving, but the way was deep and muddy, and the cart stood still. The carter lashed and shouted with a will, Hey, Brock, hup, Scotty, never mind for stones. The foul fiend come and fetch you, flesh and bones. And sure as you were foaled, mud, rats, and rubble, Lord, what a team! I've never known such trouble. The devil take all, cart, horse, and hay in one. The summoner said, Now we shall have some fun. And as if nothing were happening, he drew near and whispered softly in the devil's ear, Listen to that, dear brother, use your head. Didn't you hear what the old carter said? Take it at once. He gave them all to you, his hay, his cart, and his 3 horses too. Don't you believe it, said the fiend. I heard, but he meant nothing by it. Take my word. Go up and ask him if you don't trust me, or else keep quiet for a bit and see. The carter thwacked his horses, jerked the rein, and got them moving as they took the strain. Hup there, he shouted, Jesus bless you, love, and all his handiwork. Hey, saints above! Well tugged, old fellow, that's the stuff, Grey boy. God save you all, my darling, send you joy, that's lifted the old cart out of the slough.